And good afternoon. My name is Ryan Belmore, owner and publisher of What's Up Noop. It is Wednesday, October 30th, 1:30 p.m. on the dot. And each month we are joined at this time by Newport School Superintendent Colleen Jermain, as well as Mr. Frank Prosnitz. Frank, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Happy October 30th. Well, let me bring up the superintendent before I ask this question. Good afternoon, Superintendent.
Hi there. How you doing?
You know, I think we fall on this day almost every year. What are we doing for Halloween? Frank?
Halloween?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Frank.
I'm dressing up as a superintendent of schools.
Okay. You almost have the same color on you two.
I know. We got the memo. I'm going to the Monster Mash over at Pell.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And any other Halloween fun events happening in Newport Public Schools that people can quickly react to?
None that I'm really aware of. We had quite a few of them last weekend. We had the trunk or treat. We've had some little parades here and there. And like I said, the Monster Mash in memory of Jimmy Saris. We'll be doing that again. And so, yeah, we'll have some things here and there. I'm sure there's many more things going on that will be brought to my attention tomorrow.
Before I let Frank take over and run this conversation, I just have one question about Tuesday. It is election day.
Yes.
What is it for Newport Public Schools?
For Newport Public Schools, it's actually a professional learning. It's parent conferences. We have parent conferences at all three schools from 12 to 5. And we're looking forward to seeing our parents coming in to visit with the teachers and check in on their children and see how they're doing in school. So we're very excited about that. Parent conferences, 12 to 5 at all three locations.
So I'm wondering whether any of the kids in honor of Halloween, whether they're going to show up dressed as their parents.
We don't know. We will see. That's happened before over here at Rogers, dressed as the teacher or the principal. So I've seen that.
Frank, I'll let you take this away, my friend.
Okay. Colleen, I was looking at your last newsletter or whatever. I saw this thing that was curious. You did a survey of families on relocating the 5th grade to the Pell Elementary School.
Yes.
What's precipitating that?
Well, one, we have declining enrollment. 2, in the Newport Public Schools, elementary level is considered PK through 5 in our school system. So actually, the curriculum we use for grade 5 students over at Thompson is exactly what comes from what the teachers use at Pell. So it's just, and we also think possibly for some families and for some children, developmentally, maturity-wise, et cetera, that it's a better age to keep at the elementary level if possible in the building. And another reason is we look at the playground situation for our children. And as Dr. Browner reported out at our town hall meeting with parents, that's one of the things the students always notice too. They don't really have a playground. It's more a blacktop, hardtop, and it's very small. So we're looking into seeing that. That would most likely not happen for 2 years. Like I don't foresee it happening in the 25-26 school year, but it could happen in the 26-27 if declining enrollment continues. And of course, that's something the school committee and the community would have to decide. But we thought that now would be a good time to kind of check in with people to see what people's thoughts are on this. This is not the first time it's come up since I've been here in Newport, but seeing that the enrollments is declining and that the forecast does show continuing decline in enrollments, we had to wonder about that. And we just wanted to see what the community thought. And I think if you saw the results, I think it was about 69% of those that responded thought it would be a good idea.
23.5 who said no, and 7.4 who were listed as other. Well, I presume that means they didn't answer. It's more traditional, right?
Definitely.
When I look around the state, it's more traditional. It's the elementary is through 5th, and then 6th through 8 is middle school, and then on to high school.
Yes, and by more traditional, I'm thinking of the way you think of when you study education, when you think about education. It is interesting though, Frank, having worked in Tiverton, having worked in Portsmouth, um, they do have their fifth grades, well, they did then, located in their middle school. They could have sent them back. I think one location may have. And I believe Middletown has their fifth grade in their middle school. Again, I haven't done a fact check on that in a couple of years, but that's the way the buildings were set up to house those grade levels then. But that could have changed too with their changing enrollments.
I know that RIDE is now going through its next version of the Jacobs report. I'm not sure what it's called. Going through all the schools now that we've had somewhat of the dust settle after a real flurry of activity. Have they been through Newport yet?
Yes, they have. I think they came through Pell this past week. They'll be going through Thompson to take a look. Those are the only two locations we have here. They were originally scheduled to come down to Newport about, I think, a week and a half, 2 weeks. They had a schedule change. So I know David Halal, our directors of facilities, has rescheduled their visit. So we'll probably hear, I would not be surprised in the new calendar year of any things we need to look at, things we need to address, or at least get an indication of when that report will be ready for the school districts to review.
It'll be pretty interesting to see what they say all around. I know, interestingly, in Charahoe, where voters turned down a bond issue, and they're sitting with 3 elementary schools that are approaching a century old, and one that leaks, and another in which they have trailers for classrooms. It'd be interesting to see those comments as well. While we're on the subject of construction, how are we doing at Rogers?
Rogers, we're doing great. As a matter of fact, we just had a meeting, just ended a few moments ago. It's coming along very nicely. We're at the point right now where we're looking into signage. We're wrapping up the final hookups for the utilities. The electric hookup went well. Water, we're now looking at gas. If you come on the campus now, we have Rhode Island Energy here setting up the new gas line for the new school. Communication line is getting mapped out. That will be going in as well. Internet is ready to be turned on. It's the facility inside that's not ready yet to accept the services. So that's where we are right there. It's amazing. The glass, it's a stunning building. It really is, as far as the natural sunlight that comes into it. We have the brick almost finished. I think they're going to be on time as far as I know their goal is to have it completed by December 1st. I think we're on track to do that. The interior, the paint, the walls are all in place. We're starting now to look at the gym floor, the auditorium, seating, all of the above. That's getting addressed. We're looking at the lockers. The furniture bid, I believe, is now in its final review. It will go out, and we should have that on no later than the mid-November, with a projection of getting that all settled by March, early April. And then we'll start delivery, receiving deliveries in May, June. We also, Director Young and Principal Vance have been working with the Rogers High School staff. I know they've already distributed some boxes for teachers for some of their personal items. And we're going to start doing walkthroughs of this building, the old building, the building I'm in right now, to see where we'll start maybe pulling down some things within here to get it ready for demolition. So it's moving along quickly. The technology, new technology, some of the tools that we've already purchased to get our teachers ready to use in the new building. We have, I believe, 10 or 11 of those units now here at the old Rogers High School, or the Rogers High School we're in right now. And we're starting to get teachers prepped and ready to be able to use and implement some of the new technology. Ockers is coming in for professional development. Principal Vance has that on an ongoing basis, at least once a month, if not more, to work with the teachers as well. So it's a very exciting time here throughout the entire district, but especially here over at Rogers High School.
Expectation to open in September of 25?
They are. September 25, the first class goes in, and they're very excited too. I saw some of the juniors at homecoming. They were selling their 50-50 raffle tickets, and I was talking to some of them, and they're very excited. They're going to be the first class to graduate.
Can I ask that, and also about the faculty, the teachers. They've got to be excited about the way things are going and the prospects of a new building.
They are. The more we do tours every Thursday at 8:30, so we have students and staff going through, and they are very excited. Their eyes, just to see their eyes light up when they walk through the hallways, or just take a look at. Oh, thank you. 306 days. You started the countdown. Okay.
After the election or the opening of school? Oh no, that's
the new school building. Yeah, we were kind of waiting for that. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that stays on track. So yes, we're moving that forward, but it is exciting when people come through. It really is something. And I think every citizen and every taxpayer, everyone in Newport should be very proud of this new building once we open it. I know it's been a lot of discussion back and forth, but in the end, it's all going to be worth it.
So we haven't visited the finances in a while. How are we doing with the finances?
Finances we're keeping on track. And what I mean by all the way back to May, when we had the letter and we sent it over to the council on what what we needed in order to get that occupancy certificate and what we needed to complete the job once and for all. We have, as I've noted, the school building committee did submit a letter to the council. They did receive it last week, and I think it's about 2.9 million. I got to tell you, so many numbers and other things are going, facts are going through my head on other matters, that it's just under $3 million they're requesting at this point in time, with the caveat that anything left over in the contingency, anything we have left over, of course, goes back to the city. And we are very appreciative of the city council members and all for their support as we go through this school building project.
Is that 2.9 or 3 million? Is that the shortfall at this point?
I would consider it that, yes, at this point in time.
That's actually an incredible improvement over what it once was.
Right. I have to tell you, it's been a lot of sweat and a lot of decisions. The co-chairs, Rebecca Bowen and Louisa Boatwright, have been doing an amazing job. I have to say, Ms. Boatwright, she's on top of everything as far as making sure we get those credit back, because we have made some value engineering decisions. One was, which was a big one, was keeping the NACTAC road and not doing a redesign when you come in from the old Fort way. So we're keeping that design, and I believe we got back over $1 million or more in that. So we're really sharpening the pencils, which I'm going to say this, we have been since the beginning, but we're really getting down to nitty gritty and in the weeds to save as much as possible for everyone and to keep this, keep the finances down as much as possible. Again, keeping in mind that all of this pricing and all of these estimates were done pre-COVID, which in my world, it's been amazing. I think it's been about a long journey for everyone.
Boston Fed several days ago came out with its, they come out periodically or almost monthly with their economic conditions report. And they were talking about the continuing lingering impact from COVID and how we're now beginning to emerge from that. And I think sometimes we don't consider how much of an impact that had on a lot of things. And particularly, we're looking still. They're saying that inflation in New England is at 3.4%, which is about 1% higher than the rest of the nation, blaming it on housing and on medical. But it's interesting when you see that, and I'm assuming that this project and others have benefited from the fact that we've seemed to have gotten inflation pretty much under control.
I hope so. I'm not a world economist on that topic, but expert, but I hope so.
Yes, can I help you, son?
I have a question. The letter that the Newport City Council received The total was 2.918809. If and the city seemed to say that's it. That's all that's needed to get the job done. Of course, they didn't take a vote; they just received it. If I don't know how to properly ask this, so I'm just going to spit it out there, and then Frank and you can figure this out. There is approximately $10 million in the bond next week. If that bond passes, do you still need this money, or is this money separate and not a part of that?
I'm going to say, I think that's for the council to decide
Okay.
if that's where they're gonna, tap, if they do want to support us. I don't know what their plan is for where they're going to get those.
No, that's a good
resources.
answer. Because it says it's like $10 million, the dirt pile as well as Rogers High School completion. Very vague.
Right.
But I wasn't sure if the 2.9 was factoring in the 10.
I don't know. I thought the original was all about the dirt pile. That dirt pile, we're going to have to start naming it. It's probably the most famous dirt pile ever.
It could be a contest. You could charge for entries and for naming the dirt pile.
I have spent more time listening about that dirt pile than at city council meetings, in a couple school committees as well. But okay, I just want to ask.
Yes. Okay.
Well, two projects I wanted to check on that we've had up in the air, and that's cosmetology and automotive. We moving anywhere with either of those?
Both. Well, automotive, we've already secured a temporary place for next year for that program. So we know. No, pardon?
Jay Leno's garage.
No, not his garage yet. But we're still having conversations. We're still seeking. So we're still hopeful that something will come through on that. Actually, the Navy base has been very, very supportive of us, and they have a great facility over there. And Director Young has been working with them for now over a year to get that settled. The cosmetology, we have a couple of locations that we're looking at and seeing how we can make that work for our students. For this year in the recruitment, as of today, and I'm going to say as of today because things do change, we are not going to recruit for the cosmetology program for next year. We will, it's still going on. We're still holding the classes, but we want to make sure we have a firmer plan for any new arrivals to the program. And then we also have a way in which if we ramp it back up for the following year, how we'll make sure those children will get their certifications. So that's where we are right now. We have a lot of passionate, interested people that want to support us. I think it's more about getting organized and putting a plan in place as we have for auto. But in the interim, for all of those that out there listening, our goal is and always has been to have those two programs back in the building. And it is critical because they're all our programs are very, very popular, but automotive, we literally have employers waiting for our children to graduate. They're actually there at the day of signing. We have a signing for our career students that go from internship right into some employment. They get full benefits. It's wonderful. But we literally have places that are ready to hire and have a list. We have a list of employers for our students. Cosmetology, the young people in that program are getting more experience, expertise, and they're passing their tests before they graduate. So they're ready to either rent a chair or work in a salon. So we know how important those two programs are, and we're going to continue to work with community people that are interested in helping us. And we're also looking for foundations and donations from others to help.
As I look around the state, programs like this seem to be ramping up the school to work programs as people look at more alternatives beyond or besides going on to college and looking at other avenues. Are you finding that? And what do you need from the community? Do you need more companies, more businesses to come forward to offer internships? What is it that you would look for from the community to bolster those programs?
All right, so the answer is absolutely yes. There are more students and young people going into internships and careers than we have, I'll say, 4 years ago. It is also now a requirement for high school graduation that before a child graduates high school, they've done some kind of internship work experience before earning their high school diploma. So that's a requirement now. As far as businesses and places for our students to internship, absolutely. We can always use more. Carrie Clark, our college and career coordinator, she does an unbelievable job, but you just have to contact Carrie, and Carrie works with the employer to make certain that our students are ready to enter their place of business. They know how to dress, they know how to, as far as protocols and the expectations. So those are all things that we would love to have more. We have quite a few already on Aquidneck Island and in Newport, and we have quite a few in the trades too that are helping. And we're just tickled pink about all of that, because that's where a lot of our students that are into hands-on work and being outside like the most. So we're doing well. Answer is yes. Contact us. We have young people that really want to learn and want to get out there in the business world.
So maybe I missed any updates, but I'm wondering where we're at with the teacher dispute.
Well, the latest and greatest is last Friday night, I was contacted by our attorney, and TAN has requested a new arbitrator. So that means the arbitrator that we had that was going to be working with us, the one we worked with over the summer, is stepping down. And we now have to look and select a new arbitrator.
That was, if I'm correct, that was Associate Justice Flaherty. Am I correct?
That was Judge Frank Flaherty, correct.
And is he stepped aside, or have they requested that he step aside?
They have requested he step aside. They have said they no longer, no offense, I guess they said, they must have said something to that effect, that we're sorry, we did not want to continue with you, and we are requesting a new arbitrator. The school committee, I will say, has an executive session meeting next Thursday on this topic. And at this point in time, I believe the school committee has requested our attorney to find a new arbitrator as soon as possible and get dates.
So I know how in the private sector arbitrators were selected. We would go to the American Arbitration Association. We would get a list of possible names. We would then try to reach agreement on someone. But once we reached agreement, that was the deal. The reason you have an arbitrator is so that they can hear. You couldn't just go arbitrator shopping. How does it work for the schools? How is an arbitrator selected?
Very similar, same thing. We get lists, we look at them, we agree upon an arbitrator. And again, I don't have all the details, but I believe the technicality they're going to use, or may be used, is when the arbitrator was selected, TAN requested that we try mediation. So could we do mediation? And what that meant was the two sides come together, you try to figure it out, and then you don't have to go to arbitration. So there's not a you're right, you're wrong. We're going to, work together and figure this out and move forward. That did not happen. And again, this is my interpretation and my opinion on what transpired. So we went through the mediation with the arbitrator, and they have decided now they do not want this arbitrator, and they're requesting a new one. And they can only answer why.
But mediation is not on the table anymore. It's just strictly arbitration.
Correct. At the last school committee meeting, or actually, I believe it was at the September school committee meeting, the school committee actually voted and informed TAN and the public that they have directed our attorney to move forward with arbitration. And that was in September.
Is arbitration binding?
The ones I've been through, yes.
I mean, you go either way, but most of them are that I've been involved with have been binding.
Yes,
and
the ones I've been involved are and have been binding.
Are the teachers still working to contract?
So that's a good question. As I don't know if you saw, they came out with a new name. It's not called Work to Rule. They have something like, it's a different kind of process they're in right now, and it's basically they come and go as they please. Meaning, I don't mean they just come in at 9. They do their contractual hours and their times they're supposed to report to work. But they're really, I don't see any difference than whether or not they're on Work to Rule or whatever their new term for what they're doing right now is. They are at after school programs. They are Saturday. We had a 365 event that went great. We had families and we had the teachers from Pell and one from Thompson that are helping in that initiative with us. They were there. They've been, at all different events. They're at the sporting events. We had 30 chaperones for our homecoming dance on Saturday night. So I had a question at town hall. That's why I don't know quite how to answer this when it said, when will everything go back to normal? And I'm like, well, to me, it looks like it is back to normal, but I think if you walk through the schools, if you went to anything right now, you wouldn't even know there's any kind. If you saw interactions between me and the teachers and all of us, I don't think you'd think there was anything going on. So that's where we are right now.
All that leads to maybe my bigger than all the subjects question I have. And I look at the election and I look at a segment of our population, young people in particular, young males in particular, who seem to have forgotten some of our history. So we don't, it used to be when you went to past generations that there were Holocaust survivors that were around who could tell their story. Now there are very, very few who are around to tell their story. And we have more and more Holocaust deniers. It used to be that people remembered some of the racial conflict back in the late 60s. But none of these kids were born then. And we have places like Florida that want to erase that from our history. So my question is, are we in the schools doing enough to teach our kids about these incredible events that help shape generations, but now seem to be fading in the sense of feeling that you can touch that reality? Are we doing enough to educate our kids so that we can learn from the past and have a better future, or is this stuff just kind of cast aside?
That
was an easy question.
Yeah, really. I don't think anything's cast aside, Frank. We follow our curriculum. We follow the social studies curriculum. We do have events in the past. U.S. history is required of our students. We have grade 4 Rhode Island history is required of all our students in Rhode Island. And we follow, the Constitution. We go through all of those things. So I don't know if it's necessarily that we do not teach or make everyone aware of the past. I do think there are different perspectives being brought in when at one time or another some may have felt that only one viewpoint was brought in, for an event that did take place. But as far as following a curriculum and following the events of the past, we still do that. and that's still active. And we still have active student government in our schools as well, and you know, different types of leadership at our high school and our clubs, and in our we have a diversity relevance committee here up at the high school. So we do have all those things still in place, and restorative justice is going, and it's part of our strategic plan too. I was asked that question at the town hall meeting.
One cool
Go ahead.
thing for those who are interested in Newport Public Schools, and if you're watching this, you probably are, is pay attention to a Newport School Committee meeting. And I love the updates from the school. What's her name?
Council president.
Council president. Yes, they are so great. How much info she provides. She is full of confidence. She's full of information. If you want to be inspired and also really get a sense of what is happening at schools, she does such a good job.
Not only that, Ryan, but I was very impressed that this year they want to share the leadership. So she's not going to be the only one speaking. So each one of the members will come up each month, and they will be sharing what's going on in the schools and how they're moving things forward.
Wouldn't it be great if on the city council they had a student representative?
Hey.
Some places they do. I've worked in communities where they do. Yes, it would be great.
Some communities require them on certain boards and commissions as well. For example, like an arts commission or a waterfront commission, or they're also placed on there. I just want to also we're 2 minutes over.
Okay, he's trying.
I just have one more. I have one more quick question though, and just an update on absenteeism.
Yep. So, it's improving and we're doing well. As a matter of fact, we had a big team meeting. We have quarterly team meetings with the leadership team, and that's the one area we're really improving quite a bit. We still have a lot of work to do, though. I'm going to put that out there. We're improving, we're doing well, but we need to do much better. And we really do still need everyone to emphasize the importance of attendance at school every day. For all of us, it's important that the students are here. It's important as principals, administrators, teachers, we're all here. Education is one thing. No one can take and no one can take that away from you. And it is so important that each of us take advantage of getting a good education. And that is something I put in this week's update. Next week is the election. And no matter what, schools will be open. We will be doing our work. We will be doing what we do every day. We'll be teaching, and we'll be providing an environment for all our students to learn and thrive. So I encouraged everyone to vote. And you can even bring your children if you want, so they can see you setting a good example. And then whatever happens in the results of the election, schools will remain open, and we will continue to do our best to deliver high quality instruction for our students and have a great place for them to learn and thrive. So do you want to hear what's going on?
Yes, I wanted to preface that I wasn't trying to rush you off. I was just trying to be cognizant of your time because I know you are very busy.
Okay.
Nick and I just sit around all day. It's your schedule.
That's all right. They're standing over there behind the door. Okay. So today the girls' soccer is in the quarterfinals. I do not have the location. If you go on our website, it was to be determined.
It still is on the website. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And then the location isn't there yet. Is that what you're saying?
Girls soccer is not there yet. No.
Okay. All right. So they're supposed to be playing today. They have been moving games around because of other teams' transportations and issues and things like that. The girls are playing in the semifinals in tennis today in Westerly. On Saturday we have the boys and girls cross country going on. The town hall meeting is up on the website. You can look at that. There's a slide deck I presented at that night. It's on RIDECAP's attendance, the budget, prepping, and everything. Parent conferences, thank you, Frank, are next Tuesday from 12 to 5 at all our buildings. No school for children. The end of the first quarter is already here for Rogers and Thompson students. And we have a school committee meeting on November 12th at Pell. And we have a school building committee meeting. The next one is now on November 18th. There is not one on Monday. It's November 18th. And we have a policy meeting on November 20th. And our next parent advisory meeting will be on November 20th as well, 9:30 at CCRI. And NACTAC, believe it or not, NACTAC has an info session on Saturday, November 16th and Wednesday, December 11th. So we already have families and parents coming to visit on Saturday, November 16th and Wednesday, November 11th for our CTE programs. So it's business as usual. It's a busy time, not only in schools, but I know holidays are coming up. So I just wanted to say thank you for letting me be here.
Yeah, and I think
I just tried looking up on the Rhode Island Interscholastic League to see if I could find where the soccer match was, but I couldn't real quickly.
that's exactly the site I'm on.
Yeah.
Okay.
In football, varsity, looks like they might have a game next Friday at 6 p.m.
We're hoping it's going to be on Friday at 6 p.m. We're 5-2, and the team's been doing well.
And
So we're very happy about that. And it was a great homecoming game last Friday
look
night.
for coverage of that game on What's Up Noop. Justin Walker for us has been doing a good job getting out of the school and photographing students. I have one last question. You mentioned the end of the quarter. It's been a while since I've been in school, even longer for Frank.
Really?
Report cards still printed, or are they how do you get report cards these days?
Most of them are electronic, Ryan. They're on. You
can't hide them anymore.
No, you can't. No, you have to go online.
When I was in school, we used to get it on a stone tablet.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Anything else? I think that's all we got, right?
I think that's all we got, and we're looking forward to everything continuing in a positive way as far as for our instruction in our classrooms and our school building project and everything else.
One more, I lied. I don't know if I missed it, but when will the public be able to start maybe getting tours and seen inside the new Rogers?
That's probably not going to be until the summer.
Okay.
So summer, we'll probably start having tours in the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2-3 months before it opens.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Frank, anything else?
No, Colleen, thank you much always for your time, and great to be able to see you at least once a month.
Yeah, nice to see you, and thank you for all you do and all What's Up Noop does for Newport Public Schools in our community. Really appreciate it. And happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. We will see you next.
I got to go find my superintendent's costume.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
I think you're pretty good. Just put on a blue blazer now. You'll be ready.
Okay, I'll do it.
All right. So that is Superintendent Colleen Jermain. We appreciate her joining us. She joins us on the third Wednesday of every single month at this time, which was 1:30 p.m. You can visit whatsupnoop.com, click on Ask the Superintendent. You can submit questions right in there. You can also watch any of our conversations that we've had, and we also turn them into newsletters, audio, all of that good stuff. Frank, anything else?
Yeah, just a comment. I was thinking about it when we interview Colleen once a month. She never dodges a question that we ask, and is always pretty forthright in her answers. And I appreciate that a lot. I think we all appreciate it a lot.
Yes, certainly do. I appreciate her as well as the rest of city administration for joining us once a month. It's been good, kind of peeling back the onion and letting people see inside what's these decisions and getting to know some of the individuals who work for them. So speaking of that, we will have, it's a couple weeks down the road, so I'm not going to bring it up yet because we're still working to button down a schedule. So we'll get there. But all right, Frank.
Good. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Yes, happy Halloween. That is Frank Prosnitz. I'm Ryan Belmore. We thank Newport School Superintendent Colleen Jermain for joining us. If you missed any portion of this interview, want to watch it again, want to share it, all available on whatsupnoop.com. Sign up for our newsletter while you're on our website. We will email you this as well as you'll get the best darn newsletter about Newport every single morning, except Sunday most of the time. That's going to do it for us today. We'll talk to you next time.